Hello and welcome back to another video. So to get started with, let's make sure we have the project open. So in here we have the Vue block here. So let's continue with installing it. So I'm just gonna go in here to Filament PHP, get into the media creator page. And in here we wanna make sure that we also installed crop.js so we can crop images nicely. And with that sorted, let's now go into our page here and make sure we install the relevant style sheets. So we want to go ahead and make sure we publish a theme. And then let's go into our resources page. Theme the CSS. In here we just want to make sure we go to the vendor file here. And outside that, in here we also want to make sure we have the tailwind configuration properly set up. So let's go down here and do that. And then we want to publish the configuration. And then let's register the plugin. I'm gonna just go with the default settings here. So we want to head into our admin panel provider. And we just want to have a function in here called plugins. We don't particularly need the custom middleware class, I think, for now. So let's try to just leave it like that. Let's go to viewblock.test, head into the admin page. And as you can see, we have the media here. So at the moment, obviously, this is not uploading the media here because we're not using the creator package. So in here, we can basically create a field inside the post resource, not inside the filament post resource, basically. So in here, let's replace this with a curator. And let's go in and see what happens. At the moment, it's giving an error, so let's just make sure we get this properly set up here. Oh, it's because we're using it inside the colon here, so we need to use it obviously up here. So let's go in here and make sure we, instead of using the file upload component, we would use the curator picker. Just like that. And image column just here, just so we don't get that error. And we don't want to specify an image because it's kind of obvious that it's going to be an image here. So we don't have an issue here. We may need to clear the table actually. I think we probably want to do that just because we're using the curator picker. So we will go back in here, we'll create a new post, call it test, and test. And then in here, we can just upload a file. And I'm gonna just pick this one here. And that should be it then. So if we create this, let's see if there's a curator. And there's also a curator column. So we want to go in here and say curator column. And that's way too big. So let's make it a size 30. No, okay, size 50. All right, so we now have the ability to see the thumbnail here. We can see that we have uploaded this one media here, which is quite neat. And at the same time, we can head back in here and this won't load. So to do that, let's take a look at how we can properly get the image. So inside the post table, we don't actually store the thumbnail path because we're storing it inside the media now. So let's just find the part of documentation where we can use it with a model. So I think if we want to, we could potentially say there's an extends function here. So I think we can say extends the media model there. So let's head into the post model. And let's pass through this relationship here. Import this. And let's see what happens if we go into the post resource. The other one. And let's pass that through. Also, I'm gonna go ahead inside here and make sure we run def. And then, and thanks for the comment, thank you. Okay, so inside, let's see, where are we? So we were in the post resource. We want to actually just head into the postcard component. In here, I'm just gonna render all of the properties in here. And the thumbnail is set to null, even though inside the resource we have this featured image, which is a part of the relationship in here. So just gonna close some of these files down here. And it's just 0, so let's just make sure we figure out how to get this properly working. So I'm gonna head into the other post resource here. And in here, it is storing it and using it as thumbnail. So how to retrieve the image, that's basically what we're just making sure we can do properly now. Okay, so let's try to use something like this one here instead, inside the post model. Okay, so images, And inside the resource here, let's just call the function images. See what we get here. And also make sure we just have this as a property. Undefined media post does not exist. Okay. So I've never used this one before, so I'm trying to make sure we can get this properly set up. Okay, so let's try to use that featured image again instead. So in here, I'm gonna just create this featured image function here. And then inside the filament resource in here, let's try to use that relationship there. Cannot use empty array. Okay, so instead of that, I think we may need to remove the comma there. And let's head in here. Let's edit the image. Save it. We can also go in here. You can see we can add a new image. We can preview it. We get the relevant data. We can provide a caption and the like. So with that sorted, I'm just want to go ahead to the view block.test and let's figure out how to properly retrieve this featured image here. So at the moment, this is basically creating a belongs to relationship, featured image ID, featured image belongs to the media class. So let's take a look in the database to get a better idea of why it's not working fully. So in here we have the public directory, we have a visibility, we have the file name. Is there some sort of trait that's potentially accessible in here? Use media, or is it maybe extends? Because at the moment the featured image doesn't really get stored, so maybe we need to make a new table for this actually. By default, the curator will use this config to store your media. If you would like to store the media in a different way, the curator comes with a path generator. So we could create a custom path generator if need be. Okay, and then there must be a model ID in here. Actually, no, so it's not even basing on a relationship here. So how does it retrieve the data here? So if we So we should be able to use this featured image here, but maybe we need to delete the post again. Try this again. Insert the image, create it. Okay, and we then get undefined featured image, so duplicate slug. Okay. So we can just call that thumbnail. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that again. So what I probably want to go ahead and do is create a model here. Create a post image. And then create a migration here called create post image migration. And then in here, we just want to have a foreign ID, which is related to the post ID, underlead cascaded. And then we want to have one foreign ID that's related to the media table. And we want to call this, we don't want to call this post image migration. So I'm going to go in here and make sure that we have the model here. We call it just post. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new model. So just copy these here into the database. Because it's easier to do this with a migration here in front of it. So we'll just create a new. There we go. And then in here, we just want to have constraint for a media ID. And that should just go into the media table. Just to specify here. So let's migrate this. And hello to everyone else that's joining the stream. Thank you very much for watching it. If you haven't already, please smash the like button for me. Alright, so inside poster.php, we now want to just say relationship here to post images. And in here, we want to have the media class thumbnail, and then the foreign key should just be post ID, and it should be related to the post image class. Okay, so let's see what happens if we try to use the post image here with the ID column there. Duplicate key for post log, yeah. So let's delete that one. Post ID of post does not exist. Okay, so we're trying to get post ID here. So this is basing it on the regular model, which is what I find a bit strange here, because relationship would normally be related to something else. So we're basing it on the post images. What about if we just try without relationship? So I'm trying this out. I've never used this one before, so it's a bit new package for me to try to use. So we're getting a not null violation column here. So why is this not working? So we have the thumbnail not being specified because we are not specifying the thumbnail column here. So if we go back in now and make sure we do that. Okay. So we have the inside the media table actually. We just got this image here. So I think what we have to do is basically just create a function. This is the best way I can think of how to make it work. So public function get image. And then here we just want to return the media where ID equals this thumbnail. And just get the first one. And then inside the post resource, and here we just want to say get image, and then let's see what it looks like in here. And we're getting the whole relationship in here. And then we should just be able to say, based on the media model here, just get the path. There we go. So now we're using the media curator here. I'm not sure if there's a better way to use it, but that's basically, I think, the easiest way to do it for now. Inside the postcard, we can then get rid of that bit there. And you can see we have the ability to now view the posts here. They're all using this image here. I think as well we want to go ahead and create the page where we can view the post now. So let's go ahead and make another controller here. And this we will call post show controller. We will make it invocable. Then inside post show controller, in here we just want to return inertia. By the way, this can be easily replicated with React. This is just Vue.js I'm using for showcases here. And we just want to render post show component. We may as well just call it that. So inside pages here, we just want to make a post show.view. Create a template in here. And a script setup here. We want to define props. We want to have post as an object. And then what we can do is to pass through the variable here. All we just need to say is actually up here is we want to pass through the post. We don't even need a request pass through here, so we can just get rid of it. We can just say post is the same as post resource. Again, this is from the HTTP folder. Make post, and that way we're just retrieving this exactly the same data as before. except that we are not getting a list of posts, we're just getting an individual post. Then inside the web root, where we're going to create the root for the post, and I may call this with /article here, I'm just going to put post slug. So we're passing through the slug variable here. We're using the post show controller. We're then importing that. We're going to name this post.show. Then inside the post card, all we really need to do is where we have this link here is just say root post.show and pass through the post. And there we go. So at the moment, the page will be completely empty. And then in here, we want to pass through the app layout. There you go, as well. And then we have the post content here. We want to have this as rendered as VHTML, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that there and just pass through VHTML. Post.content. I want to make this a div. And at the moment this doesn't look very good, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do as well is to make sure we have an image in here. So in here we just want to make sure we have posted thumbnail. And also let's make sure we render out the post variable here. The reason why this is not showing is because what I think would be ideal for this resource is to make sure that it starts with a slash here. Because we are in the article road. So there we go. Now we have the ability to go in and view this. We have ability to render out the HTML, and I'm just gonna go in here and make sure that we get rid of the additional post data here. So if I were gonna go ahead and just copy some content from my website, which you can find here, I'll just go ahead and copy an article. May look a little bit weird because we're just copy and pasting it in, so it won't work fully because we're not, for example, having code highlight properly in. So save the changes. And this is an issue because we have set this here as a limit here. So what we actually want to pass it through is as a text. So what you can do in here is when you go into the create posts table is make sure you pass this as a text, otherwise it's going to be too short for a long article. So I can just click save changes now because I've just made it significantly longer. Make sure we find the correct page, because the one we had with a lot of content is this one. So we need to find the one with the testing slug. And there you go. So you can see it's rendering it here, but we don't have all of the different presets to make it look nice. So that's something we can also need to work on. We also, in here in the media create table, you can see that we have the ability to get the description and the caption and all of the other things. So what I could go ahead and do is actually inside the post resource, we could pass through the ability to get the caption, and we don't have an alt text, but I'll use the description of the image as the alt text for this. So description here, or alt text, but we will pass this as the variable description. And then instead of passing in something random here, we can just say post.alt text. Copy this in and add it into post show page here. And if we just go ahead and make sure write, you can do this in Filament as well. I'm just writing it in here because it's quicker. Let's see what the alt text of the image is if we inspect it. There we go. So now we have the alt text, and we can also have a small caption as well. And for the caption, what we can do here is we can just make a small text and put post.caption, and let's make sure we have those fonts from mono, probably would look nice here, and then a text small, and I want to add some spacing here of y, actually on the y-axis to 3, and there we go. So we have a small text caption here. If that's set, we need to show this only if posted caption. So it doesn't error out. And then we just need to go into our app.css file, this resources one, and then here we can set some preset here for how we want to style things out. So I think, personally speaking, I prefer using Daisy UI for this sort of case. So I'm gonna install Daisy UI because I think that makes it look really nice, and we can create some really nice components in here in Vue.js. So inside Tailwind, we need to require Daisy UI. And then in here, we should be able to just have a function here for let's just go in and refresh as well. So in here we have all sort of features such as the menu, pagination tab. We can even mask and all of that. So it has pretty much all we need, and I think it's a really good way to get started with. So I don't know if you guys think Daisy UI would be a good one to use. Let me know in the comment section if you have any objections to it. And also make sure you have Tailwind CSS typography required. So what we can just create is an article with a class post now inside our Vue component of the post show. So let's make this an article. Actually, no, we will make this a div and we will make this an article. And there you go. So now this looks much more like a blog, and these are just the tags below here. We have the ability to essentially, this is basically just from the website I copied, so I would ignore the hashtags there. We can remove them if you want to. Just gonna close these ones down. But yeah, so there we go. That's basically how we can set up quite quickly a mini blog using the curator plugin and also Tailwind's CSS, Nox, Vue.js, and so on. So I think outside of that, we could create a categories or tags component to make the model and end the video after that. And in a future video, we could work on adding in more details here. So let's make a model where we create a category model with a migration, create categories. In here, we just want to have a few things here. So I want this to be containing a title. I want it to have its own content, so you could have category pages. I would like to have a slug here, which is going to be unique. I'm going to have a text color, background color, and I'm going to pass these two through as nullable, but I would like to be able to select the color the person sees on the home page. I am also going to just go ahead and migrate these here. And then we want to create an article or post. So in this case, it would be make migration. And we want to create category post migration. So we want to call this migration in here. 1 second. Category post. And in here we just want to have a foreign ID for the post model and a foreign ID for the category model. And that should be it there. And then inside the category model, we just want to have a fillable in here. So now we have all of these variables set here. We can migrate it as well. Let's take a look inside here. So we got the category and category post. And then quickly what we can do inside the post resource is we can create a select and it will be based on the relationship there. But this will give an issue right now because we don't have this relationship. So we want to go inside the category model as well again. We also make sure that actually sorry, the post relationship, sorry. And then there we just want to have a categories relationship quickly. So it belongs to many. And let's close these down. Also, we want to base this on categories. And at the moment we can't select anything because nothing exists. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto a new line. I'm gonna make sure this is searchable. And outside of that, we're gonna use the create options form. In here we're gonna have text input as a title, and then we're gonna have the other components in here. I'm gonna save some time to make it a bit easier. Let's make sure we have the color pickers here. And a rich editor for the content. And then one for the slug. So if we go down here, let's see if we can create one. So I'm gonna call this test. I'm gonna pass in 2 different colors. That closed down, so let's try again. And let's save the changes. Let's take a look in the category post table here. And there we go, there's a relationship. So that's all for this video. So thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in another live stream. I'm live streaming again at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching the video.